I had a great summation all worked out, full of some sharp lawyering. But I'm not going to read it. I'm here to apologize. I am young and I am inexperienced, but you cannot hold Carl Lee Haley responsible for my shortcomings. You see, in all this legal maneuvering, something has gotten lost, and that something is the truth. Now, it is incumbent upon us lawyers to not just talk about the truth, but to actually seek it, to find it, and to live it. My teacher taught me that. Let's take Dr. Bass, for example. Now, obviously, I would have never knowingly put a convicted felon on the stand, and I hope you can believe that. But what is the truth? That he's a disgraced liar? What if I told you the woman he was accused of raping was 17, he was 23, and that she later became his wife, bore his child, and is still married to the man today? Now, does that make his testimony any more or less true? What is it in us that seeks the truth? Is it our minds? Or is it our hearts? I set out to prove a black man could receive a fair trial in the South, and that we are all equal in the eyes of the law. But that is not the truth. That is not the truth, because the eyes of the law are human eyes, yours and mine. And until we can see each other as equals, justice is never going to be even-handed. It will remain nothing more than a reflection of our own prejudices. So until that day, we have a duty under God to seek the truth, but not with our eyes, and not with our minds, where fear and hate turn commonality into prejudice, but with our hearts, where we do not know better. Now, I want to tell y'all a story. And I'm going to ask you to close your eyes while I tell it to you. And I want you to listen to me, and I want you to listen to yourselves. This is the story of a little girl walking home from the grocery store one sunny afternoon. I want you to picture this little girl. Suddenly a truck races up. Two men jump out and they grab her. And they drag her into a nearby field. And they tie her up. And now they climb on. First one, then the other, raping her, shattering everything innocent and pure, vicious thrusts in a fog of drunken breath and sweat. And when they're done, after they've killed her tiny womb, destroyed any chance for her to bear children and to have life beyond her own, they decide to use her for target practice. So they start throwing full beer cans at her. They throw them so hard it tears her flesh down to her bones. And they urinate on her. Now comes the hanging. They have a rope. They tie a noose. Imagine this noose pulling tight around her neck and a sudden blinding jerk. And she's lifted into the air, and her little legs and her little feet go kicking, but they do not find the ground. But the hanging branch isn't strong enough. It snaps and she falls back to the earth. So they pick her up, they throw her in the back of the truck, and they drive out to Foggy Creek Bridge and pitch her over the edge like garbage, where she falls some 30 feet down to the creek bottom below. Can you see her? Her raped, beaten, broken body, soaked in their urine, soaked in their semen, soaked in her blood. left to die. Can you see her? I want you to picture that little girl. Now imagine she's white. The defense rests, Your Honor.